switch my screen so I can show you guys what I have on the table. Okay, so I mean, you guys all probably know the examples like Iron Man and you know, Marvel heroes, DC heroes, but I thought we could make our own today. So here's an example of one I made. She's just like a little fire girl, and then I have some other ones, a plant one, and this guy has super strength. And I'm not sure if you saw the worksheet that Nicole sent over, but I thought we could fill that out first. If you don't have it, we can just put it on like a regular sheet of paper and write things down. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to start off. The first one I have here is, what would your superhero's power be? So I'm going to try to think of, we can do, for my example, I guess we can do like a planty hero. So I'm going to write down, can grow plants. And for weakness, I guess plants don't do well in the cold. So I would say that my hero's weakness might be cold temperatures. Oops. What kind of equipment do they carry? Maybe like some gardening tools. And what kind of costume do they wear? I want to say, well, you know, heroes usually have disguises, so a lot of heroes have masks in movies and things like that. So we could do like a flower mask and maybe some sort of leafy costume. Physical characteristics, I'm trying to think of things that might go with the power of growing plants. So maybe like leafy hair, maybe a little bit tan from the sun because plants love the sun. And I'd say their personality might be pretty relaxed, like a plant might be, or more energetic during daytime. Again, because plants like the sun, right? And then backstory is a little tricky. You have to try to think about how your character got to be or got to have the powers that they do. So someone who has a power of growing plants, maybe they got lost in the forest and it's possible they found a magical spring that granted them their powers, maybe. So if you guys want to come up with your own answers to these questions, and then we can work on drawing the character, and just so we can look at some popular superheroes. Let me see if I can. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so I'm sure you guys know these three. We've got Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Batman. And they all kind of have similar body types. They're sort of buff. And even though they have different powers, but their costumes, you know, relate to their powers. Iron Man is obviously protected by his armor. Spider-Man has a sort of more nimble suit so he can swing around and shoot webs and stuff. And then Batman, pretty self-explanatory. He kind of has that bat-like cape, but he is less armored than Iron Man. And then these are some gals, and they sort of have flexible and nimble costumes. We have Captain Marvel on the right, Black Widow on the left, and Batwoman in the middle. Her costume is sort of similar to Batman's too. You can see how they relate. And then these guys have, you know, a large variety of different body types, even though they're a family, and they all have sort of flexible costumes. But I'm not sure if you guys have seen The Incredibles, but there's those scenes where they're getting their costumes ready, and each character has different special costumes that match their powers. Like Dash has to be able to go really fast, so his costume has to be able to do that. And Elastigirl's has to be super flexible. So just try to think about that when we're doing the costumes. Okay? And let me stop sharing so we can work on drawing. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to go with the stuff I brainstormed here. And I kind of have an idea of what I want her to look like based on what I wrote down. You know, for mine, I wrote leafy hair, and she's a little bit tan from the sun. But let me get, it's a little bright now. Okay. So I'm going to try to teach you guys how to draw a loose body type of whatever sort of shape you want. So to start off, we can do let me make sure you can see what I'm doing. I think it's my here. Okay, so to start off, you can do just a circle, and that's going to be our head, but do this in pencil so you can erase it later. And then depending on what kind of body type you want for your character, you can make this part smaller or bigger. So I'm going to make mine sort of average size, but it's like a sort of triangle shape like that. But if you have a really buff guy, you might want to make it bigger. We can do a couple examples if you want. But for now, I'm going to start with a pretty normal sized one. And then I'm going to give him legs. So I'm going to do one line like that. And then I'm going to do a sort of curvy line here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, one line, and then a curvier line. If you don't think you can do the curvy line, we can also just do, I'll draw a body real quick. We can just do little noodle legs like this. Okay, and then I'm going to give him just some feet, so just make a little triangle shape. And then I'm going to do some sort of noodly arms. So I'm going to do a curved line and then another one that matches it. And then the same thing on the other side. And then you can give him just some little hands. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's supposed to be a little cartoony, you know, so you don't have to worry about it. And then we can just connect his head to his shoulders with some lines for a neck. Okay, so that's the sort of basic shape. You can make it simpler or harder depending on what you want to do. But so if you have that down in pencil, we can start adding some details. I'm just using a marker so you guys can see. So my person is a plant person. I'm going to start with their leafy hair. So I'm going to just try and draw some leaves coming off their head. I think I'll make it a leaf girl. And then for eyes, you guys can follow along if you want to do the same eyes. I'm just going to draw one curved line like that. And then I'll put one here as well. And then beneath those, I'm going to put just a black oval. Okay. And for noses, you can do a lot of different types of noses depending on your character. Maybe if they're like a little bit villainous or evil, they can have like a pointy nose like that. Or I think mine is probably going to be a younger character, so I might just give her a little circular nose like this. Kind of makes her look a little younger. So there she has a little button nose. I can show you guys some different noses. Give me one moment. I'm going to pull them out here. Oops, that's my dog barking. Okay, so here I've got some noses. I have a book here. So we have a sideways V-shaped nose. Can you guys see that? I'm not sure. There's a C-shaped nose, a sort of like 7-shaped nose. More rectangular ones. This one's meant to be like a broken nose. Where did I put it here? It's like a little wiggly. Or you could just even put 2 little nostrils. Okay. Let me see. Are you guys okay with the pace here? Okay. You did? Okay, Nicole. Okay. So let me do this in pencil one more time, just so we can, I think you can see that okay. Okay. I'm going to draw my leafy hair in one more time. And those curved line eyeballs. Okay. And I'm going to give her her button nose. So for the mouth, you want to think about what personality they have. I said mine's probably pretty relaxed, so I'm just going to give her a slight smile. Nothing too happy, too sad. And you can start going in with your costume. So I said I would make mine sort of leafy. I'm gonna make some leaves here. And then I'll give it like a leafy sort of skirt. And if your lines are starting to get in the way, you might want to erase the ones you don't want. You know, I'm covering up part of her legs with the costume. So I'm just going to get rid of those legs that are covered up now. Okay. And a lot of superheroes sort of have like boots, so I'm going to give her some boots just by drawing lines on her legs there. Okay. And I'm gonna give her a little pointier jaw. So we had that circle to begin with. If you have like a really strong character, you might want to give them a square jaw. I'm going to make hers pointy, kind of like the end of a leaf. So just sort of take that circle you had to begin with and make it into the shape you want it to be for their head. Okay. And don't forget to add some ears if they're showing. Okay. And then I'm going to start thinking about what I put down in the equipment section of my worksheet. Like, I think she might have gardening tools because she makes plants grow. So I'm going to put in her hand maybe a little mini shovel, and that could be a tool she uses if she's fighting a villain or something like that. So there, now she's got a little shovel. All right. And incorporating her power into her design, I'm going to try drawing some little plants on her shoulders, like they're growing off of her. So say if you had like a character who has fire powers, like my Fire Girl one, I just have her with a little flame in her hand. If you picked maybe like an electricity power, you could have electric bolts going off of them. But for now, I'm just going to start putting some plants. Okay, let me see. So I've kind of got my basic design here. Oh, and I said I'd give her a mask if you want your character to be disguised, so that people from their everyday life won't recognize them as their superhero. So I'm gonna put her little mask on. Okay. I'm just gonna let it dry a little bit, and then I can erase my pencil lines. Okay. All right. I'm going to use markers to color mine in, so I'm going in with like a green color for the leaves here. And you can try to make some spots darker and lighter. Like I'm going to make the inside towards her head darker, and then I'll make the other ones lighter, just by a little bit. Usually when things overlap, like where her leaf overlaps here, things will be darker because there should be a little shadow. Okay. And I'm going to give her kind of tanner skin because I think it goes with her being a plant and having to be in the sun a lot. So, okay. I don't know, not too many. Probably not as many as you guys. Probably like 10.
What do you like to draw?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of paintings, but they're pretty like realistic. Um, like I do like still life paintings, but I'll draw anything.
Okay. All right. Well, I will thank you all for coming, and we'll see you not next week, but the week after. This is going to be every other week. And hopefully, while we loved having you guys here, hopefully we'll get more people to join us. I'll bother more people and see what happens to the rest of the people who signed up for this event. All right. So have a good one, everyone.